What up, guys? We're back again. Here we are with a little Rage Winterchill. So we're going to talk about Rage, we're going to talk about his abilities, and we're going to go through the strategy that we'll be using. So first up, let's keep this video short. Let's go through the abilities. Um, he first has a Frost Nova here that can just freeze people, immobilizing them for up to 10 seconds. Not really a big deal. Doesn't even really need to be dispelled unless people need to also then run out of death and decay. We can just get it dispelled. Probably mass dispel is the best way to do it. Dispel the melee there. Second one is going to be a frost armor. Basically, he puts the frost armor up on himself every so often. It does have a 10-second cooldown, and it lasts for 10 seconds. Right? It increases his armor by 3,000, and it slows attackers' movement speed by 50%, and also increases their time between attacks by 25%. This is an interesting ability because as far as how Melee might want to strategize on this bias is they might actually want to use a FAP instead of a DPS cooldown to ignore the 25% reduced attack speed. That might actually be better than using a haste potion, for example, on this fight. So keep that in mind. It probably will come out to be more DPS than using a haste potion on this fight if you are a melee. Next one, where he has Death and Decay. It's a very large area that he puts this down. He targets a player when he does this, and he channels it for 15 seconds. The channel is important because he doesn't cast anything else while he's using Death and Decay, because of course he is channeling it. The last ability, which is really the only deadly ability during this fight, is the Ice Bolt, which he throws at a random player. I don't think he can throw it at the main tank, but he can throw it at 24 of any other players. It does a very large amount of frost damage to that player up front, anywhere from 4,200 to 5,700. And then it immediately does 10,000 frost damage over the next 4 seconds after that, meaning 2,500 damage per second, I think, how it goes out on the tick. So it's very, very, very deadly. How we're going to want to deal with the Ice Bolt is the main way is most of the raid is going to have a PvP trinket equipped because you can PvP trinket out of the ice block, which then you don't actually take this damage if you're out of the ice block. So you just take the upfront damage and then you PvP trinket and you won't take this 10,000 subsequent damage. Other classes who have immunities can also immunity out of the ice block. So bubble works. You can, if a mage can ice block out of the ice block, that also works. And such, right? If a rogue wants to blow Cloak of Shadows before they think an ice bolt is coming and like have a 1 in 24 chance that it goes on them, hey, shoot, try it. No real other reason to use Cloak of Shadows on this fight anyway. Except maybe to cloak the frost armor, actually. That's a good point. Okay, so those are the abilities. We'll go over the strategy now. So, as I talked about in my trash video, we might actually not be tanking the boss here, because we might be way up there by where actually the boss spawns. But it doesn't really matter where you're tanking him, just as the positions are the same. So here's what's going to happen. If we do end up taking him here, he'll come and we want to make sure we get these footmen involved. They're going to die really close because of the Death and Decay. The first Death and Decay that gets channeled is just going to kill them in melee. But they will provide a minor DPS increase for the raid before they die. Tank's going to pick them up and tank them here. Melee are going to be on the backside of the boss, of course, like they always are, DPSing here. After that, we are going to have 3 other groups. Okay, we are going to have a healer group that's going to stand in the middle, and most likely they're going to have 4 healers in it. You want to be far enough away from the main tank to where if the Death and Decay gets channeled on the main tank, you are out of it, so you don't have to move. The next ranged group is going to be up here. And again, you want to be far enough away from the main tank and also the healer stack, so if these get Death and Decay channeled on them, you do not have to move. And you might have guessed it, we're going to have a second caster / ranged group over here with the same principles. Far enough away from the main tank and far enough away from the caster stack. Let's stack them a little bit tighter than that, right? If we run with 5 healers, we'll have a healer in the melee. If we run with 6 healers, we will have a second healer in the melee. Very simple execution here. If Death and Decay goes on our caster group up here, they rotate to the healer group and they continue DPSing. As soon as Death and Decay is over, they rotate back. Same thing here. Death and Decay starts getting channeled on these DPS, they rotate to the healers. And then they rotate back after Death and Decay is over. The reason for that is you never want to go out of range of your healer stack. Because if your PvP trinket is down and you get encased with ice and you have no other immunity, your healers are going to be the ones to save you. So don't run over here. Because if he stops casting Death and Decay and then he immediately calls a Frostbolt and it's you, well, you're just going to die. Now, melee is interesting. I'm not sure how it's going to work in week 1 or week 2, but beyond that, our healers are probably going to have enough gear to where when he channels the Death and Decay on the main tank or on the melee, you just don't move out. The healers here, double resto shamans, are just going to chain heal you. And you're going to continue DPS. In week 1, if that's too much damage, and which we might test it with like 1 or 2 players staying in, you're just going to come on out, right? And again, you'll come to the healer group before then going back in. Okay? Main tank, of course, you just tank in and stay through there. Healers, here, if it does prove to be too much damage for all of our melee to stand in, when our melee moves out, you do stay in. Just chain heal off the main tank and chain heal off of each other. Just stand in it, no big deal. Yay, you get to parse. Now, again, this is a very easy boss. The other thing that we want to make sure is we want to make sure we have a healing rotation set for if he chooses to Frostbolt the same person twice in a row and their PvP trinket is down. If he does that, we want to make a very specific rotation of heals to try to keep that person alive. The first rotation of heal is one priest is going to be putting a power word shield on the target and then casting giving prayer mending, sending the prayer mending out. So that's 2 GCDs. Power word shield, prayer mending. Remember, the full 10,000 damage is coming out over 4 seconds. So 2 GCDs will cover, be around 50 to 60% of that, hopefully. Second priest, you're just going to load up 2 flash heals. Flash heal, flash heal. Resto druid, what your job is to rejuvenate and then swift mend. So that's another 2 GCDs where you're getting a swift mend off. You could also hit a nature swiftness macro or something like that. Paladin, you're just healing the tank, don't worry. Okay, so hopefully with the power word shield and the prayer mending, the double flash heal spam, and the nature swiftness macro or the rejuvenate and swift mend, that person will hopefully stay alive even though they got bad RNG. Other than that, it's a really easy boss. So that's the end of the video. Thanks guys for watching. Appreciate it.